All right, so the first thing you're going to need to do is download the BMI Excel spreadsheet. So to do that, the easiest way is to right click on the link here, open it in a new tab, and then you can download it. Mine, yes, says to open with Excel 2016 because I've already done this, but you're going to need to download it. And so you'll download, it'll take a few seconds. And so when you click on the downloaded file, it'll open in Excel, and you will need to click on the Enable Editing button. Okay, so now that we have that, we can now come in and do two things. We can calculate the BMI. So that's the first thing we're going to need to do. And so that's a formula. And all formulas start with an equal sign. So equals. And the formula is, when we look at the spreadsheet here, right here, is 703 times our height. I'm sorry, times our weight divided by our height squared. So right now, here, I'm going to just squish this over so we can see it. So our weight is in C2 and our height is in B2. So it equals 703 times the weight. And you don't have to type in the cell name. You can just click on the number and it will put it in there, divided by height. And to square something, you use the Shift 6, which picks up the caret, and then you just type what power it is, so 2. Okay, and so that puts in the first BMI. Now I want to fill in the rest of these, and I could copy and paste this over and over again, but that would take too long. Let's see, I can do copy and paste and paste and paste. I can even highlight a whole bunch of them and paste, and it will do that. But what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to get all of these at one time. And so this little handle right here, this little square, unfortunately, even if I zoom in, it's not going to make that square any bigger. So if you right click on it, notice how goes from the white plus sign to the little black plus sign, and that's called the fill handle. And I can fill down, and it will fill all of these down. But I have 20,000 of these, so I'm going to be filling down for a long time. So the easiest thing to do is when I get to that space, if I double click, it fills all of them. And if I go to the very end, you can see all of them had been filled in. All right, so now I've calculated the BMI for all these people. All right, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to sort them, but I don't really need to sort them at the moment. I had an older one where I had these unsorted, and I'm decided to have you put the whole thing in. So I'm going to create a column because I want to create this index column that I was using to sort them by. So to create a column, you right click where you want them to go, and it's always going to create a column, add a column to the left. So I want to move this one over. So to do that, if I right click here and insert, it makes one column. If I had highlighted two of them and clicked insert, it would make two columns. But I don't. So it always inserts the number of columns that you've highlighted. And so I'm going to call this index. Now, the reason in statistics we use it in an index is just a word meaning this is the value of that item. This is in the list. This is the item that I'm looking at. Now, if I could have sorted these in any manner and then gone forward, but there's no order to these. So, and I'm going to add 1 and 2. Now again, I could type in all the numbers, all the way down. But again, there's 20,000 of them, and I don't want to do that. So if I highlight just the first two, let me undo these. If I add in just the first two, because it needs to have a pattern, so it sees 1 and 2, and so it knows when I double click, it's going to keep adding 1 all the way down. And it does that for every single one of these, all the way down to 20,000. And it stops when there's a blank. So notice this one stopped right here because there was nothing after it. This one stopped right here because, again, there was nothing after this. If there had been another row, it would have kept going until it got to the very end. So that's how we add an index and a column to this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do some descriptive statistics. And to do that, we need to turn on some tools, which is we created the index column. We're not dealing with the sorting. We're adding this data analysis tool pack. So to do that, we go to File, Options, Add-ins, and we manage the add-ins on here. So we just click Go. And you want to make sure all of these are turned on. All right, so I'll show you what it looks like when they're turned off. All right, it gives a little shimmer. And so in data, because it's in the data tool pack, notice this space is blank. We're going to turn stuff on that will put some more items into the data space. So again, when I go function, options, add-ins, go, and I make sure they're all checked. And I click OK. It goes through some work, and now it puts in these two items, the data analysis and the solver. And we're going to use the data analysis tools at the moment. So what this does is it adds a little more functions. Okay, so all of these functions are in here, and they're in alphabetical order. All right, and we are going to be doing the sampling. So we go to the sampling, and we click OK. And it asks us for our range. So our range is A. We want all the stuff in A. So Control Shift down highlights everything that's in A. And it had a label. Excel cannot sample things that are text. So it has to be in numbers. And so because this cell had a title, okay, we have to tell it had a title, so it takes that out. And the next thing we do is we're going to use the random one. We will get duplicates, so we want to do a little more. So if I want 1,000 of these, I might do 1,100. If I wanted 2,000 of them, I'd still probably do just 2,100. If I wanted 50 of them, I might do 60, just to make sure I have a few extras just in case, because I'm going to have duplicates and I want to take them out. And I'm just going to put this in a new worksheet, and you're going to notice that it's going to make a new sheet at the bottom here when I click OK. And there it is. So it added a second sheet. Here's my 1,100 people. And like I said, I'm going to have duplicates, and we can look at that. If I sort these, I can look through and I can see if I can find some duplicates quickly. 385. 537. Oh, I thought those were duplicates, but they're all right. Well, we have duplicates, and I want to take them out. And the easiest thing to do now, because in 2016 they added a really nice tool called Remove Duplicates. So they're all highlighted. I click on the Remove Duplicates button, and it asks us, well, where? Where's my stuff I'm deleting? I'm looking in column A, and I click OK, and it found 34 duplicates and took them out. So now notice when I go to the end of this, I have 1,066. So I had 1,100, it took out the 34, pushed them all up into the order, and so now they're all in order. Control Home brings you always to A1. So if you're ever like in the middle of a spreadsheet somewhere, if you hit Control Home, it'll always bring you to the A1 cell. So that's always nice. All right, so that's how we get rid of duplicates. And I've sorted them, dealt with duplicates. And now the next thing we're going to look at is the VLOOKUP function. Okay, but before that I have to put my titles in. So I probably did that over here earlier, but I'm going to put my titles in. All right, Control Home allows me to put my titles in. So notice I have these three things here, these 5 titles, and everything's been moved down one. If I highlight on the 1, it highlights that row, and I can copy that row. And then if I go back to sheet 2, and again I click on 1, if I right click, one of my options, I can paste, but that's going to paste over the one that I want, so I don't want that. If I do this insert copied cells, it moves everything down one row. So it puts my titles in and I have my rows here. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do at this point is this VLOOKUP function. So this VLOOKUP function allows you to take this number and then go look back at this data and find the stuff and put it in. Okay, and so I would, because I could do this by hand, I'd come here and I'd copy this, and then I'd go to the next one that I have, which is 28, and I'd scroll down a little bit and I'd highlight that one and copy that, and then I'd scroll down to 34 and 63, and that's going to take a long time. So this VLOOKUP function says find this number on this data set and put information in. Okay, and so to get that, we click on the functions tool, and because I've already been doing it, it's at the top. But if I type in the word look, it brings up all the things that have lookups, and notice there's also a horizontal lookup. This is vertical, this one's horizontal, but we're going to go to the VLOOKUP, and it's going to ask me what am I looking at? I'm looking at this cell here. Okay, and so at this point here, I'm going to talk about absolute cells and relative cells. So right now, this is a relative cell because as I copy this formula around, actually, I'm going to cancel out of this and go into the other one here where we had a formula. So we have a formula here where this is looking at D2 and C2. And then when I copied down, I went to D3 and C3. And then it went to D6 and C6. So it copied down and it changed this cell. Well, if I copied this across as well, what happens is it changes to E2 because it's relative to where this cell is. So it says, oh, take these two values and put them in there. So notice it went E2 and D2. And this one went E2 and F2. And this went F2 and G2. And as I keep going across, I'm going to get different things. And notice it's going way up. All right. So because I'm taking this number here and I'm multiplying it by 703 and then dividing it by this number squared. So I'm getting huger and huger number and big number and then a smaller number. And so it's going to go up and down and up and down. All right. But because that's relative to where it goes. However, had I made this go to F4 changes to absolute cells, and I had copied it across, it's always going to be D2 and C2 as I go across. But the thing is with that, it's also going to be D2 and C2 as I go down. Okay, so having $2 signs in it says I'm always going to use those numbers. So that's an absolute cell. And then there's a mixture of absolute and relative cells where I can have just one dollar sign. All right, and so what happens here is that when I go across, this here number is going to change, but this one isn't. So this went to E2, but this stayed C2. This is now F2, and this is still C2. This is G2, and now this is still C2. So it changed just the thing that didn't have the dollar sign in front of it, the relative part of the absolute cell. And the same thing's going to happen as I go down. So in this case, this 2 changed, but this one went to a 3. And now it's still D2, it's still this value, but this is C4. And this is a 2, and this is a 6. So in this case, as I go down, only the thing with the dollar sign didn't change. So this one changed. So those are what we can have with relative cells. All right. And so we're going to use that here in this VLOOKUP. We always want it to be the value that's in A, because eventually this is going to be dragged across. Okay, and we don't want this to change to B and C and D and E. So we're going to go here and we're going to put a dollar sign in front of the A. So that way when I drag across, that will stay the same. Okay, because that's what's doing. That's looking at this index value. The table array is, well, where's the data? Well, it's all of the data that we have here. Okay, and again, I want to use the dollar signs because I want this to stay always looking at that, because again, if I drag around and I didn't do this, would change going down and would change going across, and eventually I would have blank spaces that it's looking into, and that doesn't make any sense. The next one says the column index number, this is kind of the dumbest part of it to me. But it's looking at what column this is, because we might not have had this lining up with where this is. So we're looking at the second column here, but I could have had the second column way over here, or if it was on the same sheet, it would have been in a different space. So it's not looking at the B column, it's looking at, which column do you care about. So we want this to be a 2. Now, unfortunately, there's no way to get this to do this math when we drag around. So we're going to have to change this each time. And we leave the last one blank. Because what it says is that if you don't find this, go to a near number. Okay, so when I drag across, this still says M, because this formula is still looking at the second column. But everything else stayed the same, stayed right. But I want to change this to the third column. And I want to change this to the fourth column. Let me use the tab key. And I want this to be the fifth column. Hey. All right. And because these were only in single decimals, I can make them so that they're single decimals. I just come here and reduce this down to 1 decimal place. And so now if I look at line 22, it's a male who is 73.1 inches tall, 237.1 pounds, and weighs, has a BMI of 31.2. Yes. And now I'm just going to fill this down. Again, double click, and everything is put together. So I have number 28 was a female with a height of 59.8 inches, a weight of 198, a BMI of 38.9. Female, 59.8, 198.2, 38.9. So everything, and this filled in every single one of these. So now I've done my VLOOKUP and has all of the information that I wanted to use.